Hello everybody, this is my project check-in, and just as a reminder, this is for team and in quotes TBD. So first I'll go over a block diagram of the parsing portion of my project or of the code, and this turned out to actually be a pretty large part of the project. The filter design is a little bit simpler. So we have a fit file that's the output of a GPS watch. That's fed into this fit file parser, which I kind of built off an existing Python library. And that basically extracts all the relevant information from the fit file, including time, latitude, longitude, and cadence. There's a lot of other information too, but I don't use it. One of the outputs of the fit file parser is a map request URL, which is used to download an OSM file from openstreetmap.org. And this OSM file has lots of information about the location of streets and other kind of features and buildings in the requested region. So to filter out all this unnecessary information, I wrote my own OSM file parser, and that basically reformats this XML formatted data from the OSM file to a street segment table, like the one I described last week in my literature review, which can be used in the particle filter, or can more easily be used in the particle filter. And then another output of the fit file parser is this image request URL, from which I can get basically an image, a satellite image of the region of interest from the Google Earth API. Excuse me. This is zooming in on the particle filter itself. The general structure of this is exactly the same as we used in Lab 4. The main differences are that this particle, the particle weighting block uses both measurement, so from the GPS data, as well as information about a known map. And so both of those are used to weight the particles. I'll also be using the cadence, so this is like steps per second or steps per minute, that the watch measures to inform my motion model, basically how far I expect the walker or runner to have moved in any given time step. Now I'll move on to a quick code demonstration. Excuse me, I'll do this. This is all done in Jupyter Notebooks. I'll run everything. At least I should be able to. All right, so then and while it's running, I'll walk you through what's happening here. So I have in my includes, these are the file names of the actual fit files from the GPS watch. Right now, I'm going to be looking at this August 20 Roosevelt trial, and this is like a relatively urban area. There's some high-rise apartments, but no big skyscrapers. I recorded absolute truth, and this data is included from a different file, but I recorded absolute truth data by basically recording with my phone a video as I was doing every trial, and then I could from that video determine exactly where I was at any given point in time along that route. This is all has to do with parsing and using functions that I define in a separate file. I set up my particle filter, and this was just implemented this morning, so it doesn't actually work quite yet, and then actually run the particle filter over the data. So I'm able to get this nice plot here. This is a satellite image of the place that I was walking. The blue line is the absolute truth, so that's I started here and walked in this kind of big route. The red line is the raw GPS data. So as you can see, there are some places where it deviates pretty significantly from the absolute truth. In some cases up to like 25 meters, I believe. And this is usually around large buildings. This map is a little bit out to date, the satellite image. A lot of these places have actually been built up into high rises, but they don't show it on the map. And then finally, the black is the estimated position from the output of my particle filter, which clearly is not doing its job correctly yet. But I am heartened to see that the range of x and y values is the same as the range for the actual path, so it doesn't go off to infinity or anything. And so I suspect it was just a bug I haven't tracked down, where I switched the x and y positions or it alternates every time step or something like that. So I'm still tracking that down, but yeah, this is the current state of my project. And I also can do calculations with error and things like that I have set up, but I'm not showing that in this example. Thanks, and I'm happy to field any questions.